Hi, I've been arrested at Central New York Con. Friendly neighborhood Double D here. I found Rich.
Hey everyone,
Unscripted, unchanged
RPG review, DM Bluddworth.
Bluddworth.
How's it going, everyone? It's been a long day, a great day, first day of the convention, and had a full schedule. So really awesome time. Roger did a phenomenal job putting this whole thing together, along with all of his crew and everything. So first day con, and they did a great job.
I am very impressed. We'll get Roger over here once a few people start getting in here. So what did you? For those of you that don't know, we're at the inaugural Central New York Gaming Convention, CNY Con. CNY Con. We already got some folks in the chat here. Forgive my blindness. Ooh, Meat Byproducts is here. Mercurius is here.
Hey, Mercurius. And Fox, hey, how's it going, Fox?
Ooh, yeah, Fox. Yep. Thank you guys for showing up. There's others here too. There's others in the room. Little surprises here and there. This is Central New York Con. It is near Utica, New York, so it really is kind of Central New York. And Roger Rebish, is that how you pronounce his last name? Rebish.
It's unpronounceable.
Good dude. Good dude. He's up front holding court right now. His first year, he just said, hey, there's no convention around here, him and his buddy. His buddy gave him some money and said, I'll give you this, and then you plan it and do it, and he did it, and it came off really good. This is a good convention. Probably, what do you think, Rich? 100? I think Roger said like 120 maybe.
Yeah, definitely over 100. 120 sounds about right, and quite a lot of tables full. So yeah, we had a lot of full gaming tables and a lot of different games running around as well. Some games that you normally wouldn't see out there. So I ran Shadow Dark, which you see all over the place, and I ran Fallout, which I've never seen anyone running Fallout RPG before. There was one Daggerheart game running, and
Daggerheart, eh?
Daggerheart.
Take off.
So, that was a great.
This guy saw Daggerheart.
Yeah.
Somebody was running Daggerheart. My God. Go on, continue. Pray continue.
Greg Gillespie is running games. You were running games. What were you running today?
I was running Dragon Slayer. Of course, I had to because Greg is here. Of course, I wanted to, but look at Mercurius gave out already a membership. My brother.
Yes.
Thank you, Mercurius. He is a good dude. Very good dude. Good.
Eric Tankar is here from Tankar's Tavern.
Eric Tankar is here.
We have Ducato from, I always forget the numbers after Ducato, but Ducato does a lot of Castles and Crusades and miniatures painting, which I am horrible at. So that's light years above.
That's Decado, DECADO 1628. Good dude. Good dude.
You remember the numbers better than me. Well, you're younger than me.
I'm an accountant too, so I have a mind for facts and figures. How I got into anything creative is a minor miracle. But so what did you run again? What was your favorite game that you ran? You ran the Modifius one.
Yeah, Modifius is Fallout RPG. Ran very well. People had a lot of fun with it. Probably the youngest player I've ever had at my table. He was maybe 10, 11 years old, with his father, of course, and had a great time. He was playing a robot with a rotary saw, and we just started calling him the Saw Man because he was killing people left and right with that rotary saw.
Always love it when that happens.
Yeah. He was having a ball. So it was really nice to see a younger generation, really just diving into it. There was quite a few kids here actually that have never been at conventions before.
Good to see.
And
a couple. When I was playing in Greg's game, Greg Gillespie's Dragon Slayer game. And the father brought his kid in. Maybe it was even the one that played with you. And he's like, "Hey, can we just watch for a few minutes?" And we're all like, "Hell yeah, of course."
Yeah, of course you can. So there was, so it was really, really family friendly, and again, a good mix of different games, and a lot of people for a first year. 100 plus is actually really, really good. So it looks great for next year as well.
Yeah, they're gonna do this again next year. They didn't even really, if they lost any money, they didn't lose much. An auction tonight actually probably maybe made them whole. So anytime you can have a first year convention where you're not in the red, that's a good thing. Let's see what some of you are saying. Wonky, how do, brother? Lots of talk about North Texas, still on people's brains. Greg's especially. Surly, yeah, normal nerd stuff going on. Yep, shit is hitting the fan all over. Yep, heard about some of that. See some more. Rogan is there. Good to see you, Jimbo. Matthew. Rogan's alive. That's like the big thing on my channel. My buddy Rogan, he hasn't been there. Like he's battling some back issues. And everybody's like, R.I.P. Rogan. Pour one out for Rogan.
You have Rogan and you have
Crazy Mouse.
Crazy Mouse.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, are they in studio with you, or they?
They are
separate. Oh, they're in.
Oh, they're in studio. Yeah, they're in the room. In the room. I put on my shades. All my semi-shades. My actual glasses. My smoked glasses.
Yes.
I went to the eye doctor, Rich, and I said, "Make me look like a mobbed-up doctor."
Right. So you don't have the mirrored glasses today.
It's not the mirror. I got the paisano. Like, hey, you're a little light in your envelope.
Yeah. So the first thing that Stan, who's Ducato, he says, "Hey, did you see Double D?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen him." And he says, he's like super tall. He says, you won't even recognize him how tall he is. And I was like, oh, really? I says, all right, I hope I get to see him sometime at some point. But you've been in the VIP section, right?
I know.
You've been running in the VIP
I wormed
section.
my way in. I did buy a VIP badge. Actually, Greg is the actual VIP here.
Yeah,
he's the
VIP,
guest of honor.
Yes.
But you think I'm tall?
Yeah.
Have you seen Mr. Greg Gillespie?
Yeah, is he taller than he's taller than
He's
you,
taller
right?
than me. Yeah, he's got. Greg is a. I remember when Mark Messier went to the New York Rangers from the Edmonton Oilers. The doctor for the Rangers, gave him his physical, and the coach was like, "Well, everything okay? Everything good?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "This guy is a specimen. This guy is a physical specimen." Greg Gillespie is a physical specimen. He's like 6'6" and he's huge. Oh, can maybe coax him on. Do you want to go up there?
Yeah.
Get Greg. See if he'll come on. Tell him the people are waiting with bated breath. Good to see you guys. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, Wonky, Greg is huge. He is really big. Yeah, Ryan. I got to meet Ryan. Ryan's a big dude too. Ryan, you're like buff though. Not that I'm not like a pushover, but I'm not like that. I'm not that yoked yet. I'm working on it. There's we're just kind of in the auction room right now, winding things down for the night. I just finished my game. I ran some Dragon Slayer for group of 7. That was including Mrs. D. And I thought it went very well. Anytime they clap at the end and they're like, "That was cool," I'm always a little like, okay, I did my job. They forgot their troubles for 4 hours. In this case, like 4.5. We went over, but it was the last game of the day, so they were okay to play late. it was fun to run too. It was Dragon Slayer, very very Howardian, little Lovecraftian even at the end. It's pretty cool, pretty darn cool. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Let him finish that. I will interact with the chat. I'll come over. Yeah, Greg is up there talking right now with Roger. Mercurius, you're 6'2". I'm right around 6'4". So I'd have a couple inches on you probably, Mercurius. And Greg would have 4 inches on you. Dude is huge. Doc, how do? How do? All right, I'm gonna take a tiny walk here. I'll show you the hotel. All right, so the hotel bar here is kind of funny. It is a meat market. Man, I was going to show you I was going to turn the camera around and show you the game room. How about I show you guys the meat market instead? I'll do that. You're not going to be able to hear me because this place is like, it's kicking, so. Say hi! Oh boy. Oh, a lot of people left. There was a lot more people in here earlier. Ladies. Woo! There you go. Say hi. There you go. Some of the local wildlife. Actually, there was a lot more people in there earlier. This is just a hotel. This is the Burstone Inn in New Hartford, New York. Apparently, the hotel bar is the place to be because there are some women in there who were pretty serious about partying, getting down, as the kids say. Mrs. D's here. I gotta behave.
It's like soft and heavy soil.
Roger.
Terrible.
I'm live right now.
Oh.
The masses want to talk. To the man that made it happen and the legend
Oh boy.
I'll do Greg first.
Yeah.
Get you warmed up. There he is. All right, Roger, you got to hold this. All right, so hold it like
absolutely.
this from a distance, just like that. People want to see how tall you are.
All right. Well, take the hat off.
I like that. I told you. He's like, he is like 6'6",
6'5".
6'5". He's listen to how modest he is. All right, so how did your convention go, Mr. Greg Gillespie?
Great.
Our first meeting, right?
Yeah. Our first meeting. So we've known each other for several
Couple years,
Yeah. And so we played online together
Yes.
and had a great time.
Yep.
And then we played this morning together.
Yes.
And
That was fun.
Yeah. And your game today was great.
Well, thank you. That is high praise.
No, it was great. So you had like the telescopic story elements, and then at the microscopic level, you had all the combat portions.
Yeah.
And your players were captivated by your game.
Well, I guess my philosophy is, it's both here, get more of you than me. My philosophy is always just try to give everybody a chance to kind of be in the spotlight if possible. Now they may not do anything with that opportunity, but at least give them the chance. And I think pretty much everybody did. One guy even committed like suicide by cop, essentially. Like
Yeah.
he kind of made sure that his character. But even that was fine. It worked in the story. And
It did.
Yeah.
And the Robert Howard, Conan elements were there all the way along. I appreciate you pulling those in there, and it was fun. And I there were good laughs that had at the table, and a terrific climactic combat. Great
Thank
job.
you,
Great
yeah.
job with it.
Well, and you'll be happy to know too, because some of the folks were like, "Ooh, Dragon Slayer." I'm not sure, and I'm just like, guys, it's just old D&D, and I'm like, I'll help you, and it's like, I think if you kind of explain it, sometimes in terms if they're coming from 5e, use. Kind of like the target 20, only like for the players. If you give them kind of a target number, sometimes they can get that mathematically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of them kind of like, well, all right, I'll get that. And then at the end, when they were packing up, they're like, oh yeah, this game was cool. Like it's not hard to run at all. Like that's sort of, it's almost like an invisible barrier, that they think is there, and it's like it's not really. Because once you start playing, it just kind of plays itself.
Yeah, 100%. And at the end of the day, everybody, if you're using addition, regardless of what task you're doing, whether it's an RPG or anything else, it's more intuitive.
Yeah.
So you establish, you need 20 to hit AC 0, but then it's attack bonuses, it's strength bonuses, and you're adding all the way along.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think about THAC0 if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You can if you
if you want
do.
to. Yeah.
But I just think in terms of the addition, and
Yes.
when you convey it to players, it makes cognitive sense. It's intuitive, and you just add, and do you make the number or do you not?
Yes. Yep. Now you ran the game today, which me and Mrs. D were in, and you're running one tomorrow?
Yeah, running one tomorrow. Beacon on the Barrowmaze, which will be another small adventure that'll come out in 26, and just trying to add a little bit of value to the various mega dungeons. So in the regional areas, I've left some loose threads, so close readers will know that. And it's just a matter of having an opportunity to pull these together in small adventures and add some value and have some fun, and most people appreciate my work in terms of the like 160,000 word mega dungeons, but you can't be a one-trick pony. You have to be able to parse things out in smaller bits.
You're good in the short form too.
Well,
you're good in the short form.
Well, we'll give it a go, and then the marketplace can decide whether their characters are going to die fast in the short adventures or in the longer ones. Yeah.
Now, when Greg's at a convention too, like he'll bring some of his books. So I actually got a paper copy of Dwaro Deep, which I've always wanted. I had the PDF, but I don't know. It's just nothing like having that book in your hand. So I am just going to nerd out tomorrow when I get home and I'm just going to soak it all in.
Yeah.
Just going to be reading Dwaro Deep the whole time.
So I was telling you, so I was invited to go down to a friend's place, Steve Greshel's in Austin, Texas, excuse me. So he wanted to experience Dwaro Deep. So I ran Dwaro Deep for 2 days, 7 hours one day, 9 hours the next.
Yeah.
And what I did was I created the pre-gens, all dwarves, of course, dwarves retaking the homeland. And they all had the same primary quest, which was retake the lower halls. But then they all had secondary and tertiary quests, and some of them aligned with other dwarves, but some of them were counter to other dwarves. And so they would have to work through, okay, well, this is, how are we going to manage these things? How are we going to bring them together at the table? And I didn't want to impose a resolution on that. I want the players to figure it out. And but at the end of the day, they're all about retaking the homeland, finding ancient dwarven lore that had been lost by their ancestors, recovering armor and weapons and magic items that were important to the dwarves, and it was so much fun. So I had never used Arkenforge before. Perhaps some of your viewers are familiar with that. And so we brought the Dwaro Deep hex map into Arkenforge, and then we covered it in a fog of war. So then
you were playing on an LCD gaming table.
Yeah, that's right. So that's
they could put the miniatures right on the map.
They could, yeah. And then, but we go from telescope to microscope with the subterranean hex map, and then into the tactical maps. And so I tried to kill off as many as I could, but I gave them. We started off with characters were at 3rd, 4th, or 5th level, and they were hardy, and because you don't have any magic users casting fireballs and lightning bolts, the dwarves have to like slog through everything with melee combat. So we did the best we could, and then we threw in some Texas barbecue, and before you know it, we had a great time.
Yeah, we went to dinner, had some good barbecue. Yeah, I was kind of thinking because the game I played in with you, that was low level. That was like level 1, so that was like all bets off. Something. In fact, I'll tell you this: one character in the game earlier today died before they even got in the front door. They searched a sarcophagus unwisely. A hand came out, grabbed their heart, and that was it. All done. But what can you do?
Hey, fate decides.
Yeah, but honestly, that was the only one. So I was like, oh man, we're really in for it. And then just the way things worked, I guess we smartened up a little bit. So
yeah,
we started to. When you play with Greg, you do have to pay attention to the old school rules, and it's like you are very strict on like what is the order, what are you doing, are you doing this, are you tapping with that 10-foot pole? All right, well, a trap goes off. If you're not, guess what? You're fucked. So there was a couple of times where it was a little hairy, but like I said, after a bit we kind of wised up and started to learn the hard way, I guess.
Yeah, well, I believe in the procedural dungeon crawling.
Yes, I was thinking of the word. Yeah.
Because that keeps the players alive.
Yeah.
Excluding fate, it can keep players alive, right? But then it's also good for the dungeon master, because you know what's upcoming, and so I think players did a pretty good job of adapting. We had a few bumps as we went, but it was a super fun game. Yeah, super fun game.
Good time was had by all.
Yeah.
It's very fun. If you ever have a chance to play in any of Greg's games at any convention, make sure you do so. Not only is it a fun time, Greg's a great guy, and like I said, you'd be remiss not to pick up Barrowmaze, Dwaro Deep, Lost Caverns of Archaea, and Highfell, right? Is the other one? Highfell, yeah.
But I just want to say to everybody out there, so Double D and I have been friends for right from the get-go, and to your gaming buddies, I appreciate you, and I appreciate our friendship. Yeah. And this is the first time we have a chance to meet face to face, and it's been terrific, and I really appreciate you very much.
I was gonna say I had no, I had no worries. I'm like, I'm going to meet Greg. It's just going to be just like how we talk, and that's pretty much how it was. Like we just met at the bar last night with our beautiful ladies, and just had a great time, just kind of hammering drinks. Greg likes the vodka and water.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you can put it away, but when you're built like an Adonis, like this guy. You can do so. But we talked about gaming, life, all that stuff. It was really good. So great guy. Greg always has time for his fans. We'll always be happy to talk about gaming.
Oh yeah, best old school D&D channel right here, Diversity and Dragons. I tune in all the time, and I appreciate your takes very much.
Thank you, buddy. All right, we'll let you go.
All right.
I'm gonna get this guy. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Your moment in the sun?
Sure.
Because you are the real VIP. Just sit, have a seat. Have a seat, yeah.
I'm not as tall as...
No, nobody is. All right. This is Roger. How do you pronounce it? Is it Rebish?
It's Rebus.
Rebus.
Rebus, yeah.
Rebus.
Yeah, that's okay. Everybody screws it up.
This is the guy responsible for CNY Con. And you should... I'm going to do it.
Oh, boy.
Give you a little pat on the back there.
Not over yet.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of time.
One more. I keep remembering there's one more day. We'll be leaving probably early tomorrow afternoon to head back, but
sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be taking off.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, we'll take it in. We had a long day of gaming today, and it was great.
Today went fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
You were a little worried. I could tell. We arrived. We arrived last night, and you were kind of running around like a chicken with your head cut off.
Just trying to make sure everything was perfect and everything, and that's like super difficult when you don't know what's going to happen. This morning, but it went great.
But what did I tell you? I said, Roger, worry not.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been in it since pretty much the beginning.
Yeah.
So
I was shouting it out, and I was like, oh, any convention that I can drive to in a reasonable amount of time, and I could do from Erie to Utica is like 4.5 hours. I can do that standing on my head.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I drove to VentureCon last year, and that's almost 12 hours. It was worth it. And I love VentureCon. Yeah, for like a first year convention,
Sure.
like you got a lot of people here. I mean, you got something because you got something after North Texas, before Origins, and it's still early in the year, in the summer. I think it's a perfect time. Honestly, it's amazing more people haven't figured that out.
Yeah,
because you were talking like, well, maybe July, but you kind of come back to, well, next year it's going to be right around this time.
Yeah,
I would highly encourage you to keep it here. This is a good
I think
time.
if you get into July, more people are on vacation. And
once the
things like
summer
that.
gets into high gear,
Yeah.
because people don't realize, like in the north and northeast a lot, summer doesn't quite begin in June. You'd think it does, but it's kind of cold sometimes, especially if you live near the Great Lakes. We haven't really had much of a summer. There's been honestly 3 days of maybe like where it was like 80 degrees. Other than that, it's been cold and kind of miserable.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I think. We
Yeah.
had, a few warm days. And
A few warm, and then but that's it. So
it's down to 60s again. Yeah,
and it all has to do with like the lakes and all that stuff.
Sure.
So it doesn't really start to warm up in our neck of the woods up here. July starts, and that's when people go on vacation for some reason. And it conversely, it of course stays warm into September and October. So you sort of have like a later summer. This is kind of perfect because you're getting some good weather. And you're not having much competition for some reason.
Yeah, it seems so. Yeah, it's everything kind of just fell together. And
what was your what was the thing that you probably hit just right? What did you do that you were like, yes, I got that?
oh man,
Anything?
I don't know. I've been such a critic of myself.
I know.
Every single part.
Well,
of it.
don't worry. I'll ask you what you got wrong too. At least give
everything.
yourself one kind of that. Like choosing the venue.
No,
you think this
I
was
think-
the right venue?
I think like organizationally, like with the venue and the layout, I think it was the right way to go.
I do too.
Just with the vendors in the main gaming area and whatnot, and it definitely being like at the hotel and like all of that layout, I think was the best I could have done. I don't think it could have been set up any better. So
I agree.
that's my.
What about all right now do what you're good at. What did you do that we'll probably change
things,
next year?
Yeah, there's so many things that'll change. Like, and you and I had talked earlier too about like the room that we're in here that we had the auction and stuff in. Just it would only take 10 minutes to convert it and put 4 tables in here and some chairs.
Overflow
we could
gaming.
have had some more overflow gaming.
Yeah.
And where it was quiet. I had a larger room for the miniatures games and stuff, and there only ended up being one miniatures game at one given time. So it was, not really wasted. That actually kind of worked out because it became the Greg Gillespie VIP.
The VIP and the VIP gaming room, yeah. There was to explain that there was a side. There's the main gaming hall, where the riffraff were gaming, and
Riffraff, yeah.
just kidding, of course. But no, that's where all the tables were. But Greg's game was in this side room where there was 3 tables and there was a door, so it was like quiet. It was like a private game. So I went to Roger and I'm like, "Hey Roger, I'm running my game at 6." I'm like, "Anybody in that side room?" And Roger's like, "Nah, nobody's in there. Double D, you can take it."
Yeah, and you referred to it as the VIP,
room. Yeah. It's like the champagne room at the strip
that's
club.
great. Yeah, and that's what it is. So I think that's a good idea. I mean, that we'll carry. Next year we'll have like a room like that where we can have. You and Greg and the special guests or something run.
The Blue Bloods.
Right. And I think
The hoi polloi. All right. Trying to think what else. Did you obviously running this? You didn't get a chance to do any gaming, did you?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
No.
Just kind of being on call.
Yeah.
And your wife kind of helped out quite a bit.
She was running registration booth and all of that, and that was just fantastic.
Unsung heroes, right?
That. Yeah, absolutely.
You had some volunteers too,
and a lot of staff and stuff. Probably a half a dozen people that really came together to, calm me down and, what do you need me to do? Type of situation. It worked out really great, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What is your favorite game when you're not planning conventions? When you're just playing RPGs, like what system do you like? What do you like to do?
So I was just arguing this with Greg actually a little while ago because he wants me to say Dragon Slayer,
Of course.
obviously, and
Great game.
I told him. Don't tell him I said this on live, but I told him I wasn't a fan of the Cyclops men.
Oh,
It's just not me, and he of course refuted it.
straight out of Crawl.
He said the same thing.
Straight out of Crawl, yeah.
But he gave me homework to go look up and read and watch and stuff.
I played a Cyclops. I played that Cyclopsman in Greg's game. I'm like, yes.
Currently, I'm running Castles and Crusades.
Great game
And,
system too. Yeah.
It's a great game system, and Greg has some other ideas as to why I should be running his system. But
Well, Greg's a fan of his system. He's
no,
a fan
absolutely.
of
It's a great
early
system.
D&D. Yeah.
It's a great system.
I can,
don't mean to
I
sound,
can be a
terrible.
little more, diplomatic, equanimitable. I don't know if that's a word. So and we were actually Greg and I were talking last night. So we probably had a similar conversation where, like Shadow Dark came up. Mrs. D's like, well, what do you think of Shadow Dark? And Greg's like, I'm not a fan. And I realized that too. In fact, I told Mrs. D, I'm like, I could have told you that. He does not like Shadow Dark. But it was a good conversation. I was just kind of saying how I thought. What I thought was the virtues of Shadow Dark. Now we both agree that it's not probably a great like long term, like if you're running a long term campaign with it.
Sure.
There's just I don't think there's enough options like for the players, but for like a campaign game or not campaign, a convention game. It's not too bad,
Especially with the torch timer.
Thing. A little mini campaign, like we're doing just a little mini campaign because I want to learn the rules. Hold on one second, I gotta get this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta get this chat. Robert Santon, $10 just because. Amigo, thank you very much. Mucho gracias. See if Greg is here. All right, so boy, we're down here. Cal's there, Central New York Con. Thank you for what you do. Okay, we got 40 in here right now live. More on the replay, I'm sure. Yeah, guys, for those of you that don't know, we're at Central New York. It's near Utica, roughly in the center of New York, right?
Yeah,
Sort of, yeah.
pretty much dead center, yeah.
It's a good convention. I would say come to it if you can. If you're within driving distance and want to come, this guy,
Yeah.
he's demand.
You don't have to stare at this face at all,
Yeah. All right. Tell you what. Give yourself a well-deserved break tonight. Get ready for day 2, and I will let you go.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you here soon.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.
We'll have you on too. When especially as we get closer to next year.
Yeah,
we'll of course do that stuff.
What do you want for it?
See who.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Eric, you want to go on live? Say hi.
Be happy to. With my horrible hair.
You guys know him. You love him.
I don't know about love, but you might tolerate me, and that's okay.
Yeah, we just met for the first time.
Yeah,
today.
it's pretty cool.
Mr. Tenkar, Eric Tankar, Tenkar's Tavern, place where you can go to just discuss just gaming stuff, pretty much, right?
Pretty much.
It's pretty much all gaming, which is I think we need places like that. Like I get more into the politics, I know,
Oh, listen.
with some gaming, but
I dip my fingers occasionally. Listen, some of the news that we cover in gaming is newsworthy and
can't avoid it.
and
Yeah, sometimes
avoid
you can't avoid it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but I try.
yeah. Got to meet your lovely wife, Rach.
Yes, thank you. I am blessed. She's been going with me to conventions since 2014. We've been going to conventions every year, and she's gone with me to every single one.
Fantastic. Hold on, we got
Nice.
a super chat here. My God.
All right, Robert. Thank you.
Robert Sanson, thank you very much. Is that another $10? Holy smokes. He's stacking them. He's stacking them, Eric.
Keep it going, man.
They're stacking those $10 chats. What did you run anything today?
I ran a game today, Swords and Witchery Light. I ran an adventure from Tom Wilson under Tenkar's Tavern. It's on drive-thru. It's pay what you want, but it's nice because conventions you got to pace out an adventure. It's something that generally wraps up in about 3 hours. But if it doesn't, it has another 2 levels. Mm-hmm. So, and each level has its own little climax, so your players can complete something.
Yeah,
It's different than a home game.
I think it is important. Yeah, conventions are a different animal. You kind of have to. I don't want to say you have to fudge everything, but you kind of have to you got to speed things up occasionally and be like, all right, I can
change the pace.
Yeah, I can cut this out. Maybe this was going to happen. I can kind of.
You want to get
do some magic.
You want to get to the big bad guy.
Yeah.
We'll move him up 4 rooms because you guys have been going really slow and getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, and it's.
Sorry.
And yeah, in your own personal game, when you have the luxury of time, you can, tell them no.
Robert
you have to do
Robert
it.
is still on fire.
Robert,
I'm just letting you know.
Robert, what are you doing here? I'll give you a like, sir. Thank you very much. If I had Crazy Mouse's soundboard, I'd give you a whole bunch of goodies.
Yeah.
But we are just raw dogging it, as the kids say, with a cell phone.
I don't know if you can hear the karaoke. Well, it's not karaoke. It is the 80s dance party.
Oh, is that what it is?
Supposedly, it is an 80s.
Oh, I went over there. I took the viewers live over there. We got to see some of the gals going in and out.
Yes, they are younger women than us.
Yes.
I'm not saying they're young women. I'm just saying they're younger.
Younger, yeah. At first, I was mistaken. I'm like, oh, it's a meat market. And I'm like, well, they're a little older than I thought.
Yeah, but they think they're young. So it's
state of mind. It's exactly state of mind. Now, what are you running these days, like for your home game, like when you play at home?
Joe the Lawyer just was finished up a 2-year-long 2E game for us.
2E?
Yeah, we were playing 2E. Joe was running it by the book. It started out with 5 pages of house rules, ended with 20, and the font just got smaller. So Joe's a great GM. I've known Joe for years, but he house rules, and I'm not saying it's painful. But I was glad that I could just...
A little too much.
Oh, yeah. But
house rules are a spice. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
You want to sprinkle them in here and there.
But, yeah, we're always pulling out an old school system here or there.
2E, it's weird because I think back, and because we were kind of a group that always kind of kept up with the current edition of D&D until they kind of went crazy. And, now we've sort of... But I'm thinking back, and I'm like, boy, I probably ran more 2E than I did anything, because I started in 91 weekly games, and pretty much haven't stopped since. So from 91 to 2000, that's a 9-year stretch. I mean, we converted, to 4E after 3E, and that wasn't 9 years. Obviously didn't stick with 4E for very long.
Right. Okay.
And we dabbled in 5E for a couple of years, but it wasn't nearly as long. So.
God bless you.
I know.
I mean, I started with 1E back in, I believe, Christmas of '79, and then I learned it wrong. I didn't have the monster manuals. I didn't know that HD was hit dice. I thought it was hit points. So everybody was I was like, why do ogres have 4 + 1 hit points? Just write 5. So I had to learn that one.
Let's go take on Asmodeus.
Yeah,
he's
pretty
only got 20 hit points.
My first gaming group leveled up really quickly.
Well, I would hope so.
It was a really easy game. And then when 2E came out, we converted right to 2E.
Mm-hmm. 2E is an underrated system.
2E is a good system so long as you leave out the majority of the splat books.
Yes, yeah, the complete handbooks.
I'm not going to say which TSR staffer told us they were not play tested, but one of them told us that they were just told to get them out and push them out. So,
have you ever talked to Rich Baker?
No.
I messaged him because somebody I guess maybe it was just through Microsoft or Facebook Messenger. And they're like, you should just reach out and just tell them how long you've been playing Birthright, because I've been playing Birthright for 30 years.
Birthright was awesome. My group didn't like it. I loved it. I owned most of it. But yeah.
Yeah, my group took to it, and I ran it. I don't know if that's a new $10 one or not. I'm just gonna say thank you again. My God, Robert Santon, you are the hero of the day. Thank you very much again. Yeah, 30 years we've been going with Birthright, and yeah, we of course started in 2E because it was a 2E setting.
Yeah.
So 2E had all those amazing settings.
2E had great settings. I remember getting excited about Birthright, and with the only setting I called the complete strategist in Manhattan and said, "Is Birthright in yet?" And they're like, "Dude, it doesn't ship till later this week." Well, I'll call tomorrow. Don't call till Friday, okay? It's not going to be here.
That had to be May of 1995, I would bet, because I think that's when I remember getting it and like starting to play. We started to play it pretty much right away.
So you actually started with that shortly before I stepped away. In '97, I stepped away from gaming for a good decade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, adulting took place.
Yeah, well, that happens.
Yeah, it's like, oh wait, I don't have weekends off anymore, and I'm working. I go to work at 5:30 at night. Yeah, not conductive to gaming schedule. So.
Yeah, my only dark period, because I got the basic set in '81, I think.
Okay.
And then we definitely played some D&D throughout.
Right.
But me and my one buddy, we didn't have a steady group, so it was honestly just me and him. So the perfect game for that was James Bond, the RPG.
Oh yeah.
Victory games.
I remember it.
Great one. Honestly, one of the game systems where you pretty much should do one-on-one. You don't want a group of
No.
super agents. You want James Bond or whatever stand-in they're doing. And we did Star Trek too from FASA.
Oh, that was a fun one. Did you have the bridge simulator?
Well, I had the blue mats, where you would keep track of all the stuff. It was basically just everything out of the box set.
So, no, that was another fun one.
Oh, Starship Combat was fun in that. Like, if you had more than one person, it was cool. You had to give power. Like, Scotty, can you give us more power?
More power to the shields.
More power to the shields, more power to the phasers, photons.
Doing the bad fake Scottish accent.
Yes.
All of us
course.
did, by the way, at that age.
Oh, yeah.
All did it.
Of course. Yeah, and then I started to go to high school at like 84, 85, and that's kind of when I was like, all right, this stuff is not cool anymore. We're going to put this away for a while. So from like 80, I would sneak in games on the DL.
Right.
But pretty much from like 87 to 91 was no games at all. Like no games at all. So it was a 4-year dark period.
Yeah, my dark period was longer than I found Fantasy Grounds. I went, I can't figure this out as a DM because I wanted to. I'm a DM by heart. It was too complex, but as a player, I could figure it out. I came back playing Castles and Crusades.
Good game system.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about that with Roger. There's 3 systems I like. I kind of promote. CNC. I do promote Dragon Slayer because I think it's the best of the clones.
Greg did a great job with that.
Oh, it's a beautiful book. It's the rules are obviously based on the old rules.
Right, they're based on BX with some of the advanced thrown in and a lot of Greg thrown in.
And what I like too is he kind of put it all in one book. Like you can get that from OSC, Old School Essentials, but you have to actually buy like 4 different books to kind of get everything that you would get in just the Dragon Slayer book. So that's kind of why I'm a fan of that. Plus the art is just simply the best. I was telling Greg, I'm like, I don't know if there's better art in any fantasy RPG book than is in yours since for like a long time. I mean, that's the line art, that classic.
That classic black and white
line art. It's second to none. I still like it best. I mean, there's some color. Like I like Clyde Caldwell, like that Dragonlance stuff he did.
I like
good.
it when they're color plates with black and white art, but when everything is the color through it, it seems to just distract more than add, and that's.
Yes.
We're showing our age, folks. I'm sure I will apologize.
Grumpy old men. And you do. So I mean, and the last one is, how do you feel about Shadow Dark?
I
Is
like
that- is
Shadow
that-
Dark.
Okay, I do
It's
too.
the-
I do
It's
too.
the only game that we've actually run 2 live plays on my channel. After swearing as a group, we never do it because we're a bunch of obnoxious Fs. We bust on each other's balls throughout the game, before the game. We make politically incorrect jokes throughout the game. And
Of course.
we would get canceled. And then Shadow Dark came out, and we were all like, we really got to play this. And if we play it, we should actually like live stream it. I'm like, you're insane. But we did it. We did it twice. And Kelsey actually told me in person, she's like, your live stream of live play was amazing. I go, why? Because, it's just the banter. She goes, you tore the rules apart where they needed to get torn apart a little bit. Because I game with people that design games. So who gave a... Let's check out
Lord.
that 100. Who?
Robert.
Robert, I'm going to tell you right now, as a friend, you probably got to go to bed.
Robert, I'm going to have this guy suck your dick.
No,
No. I will suck your dick.
Okay, I used to work in Hunts Point as a cop. I've seen people do it for money. It ain't happening.
Yeah, no, not gonna happen. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it. Robert, I don't know what to say. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Wow. Mucho gracias. And then you're not even saying anything, too. My God. You're just giving money. Asterion, $5. Color can make or break a drawing, but you can't go wrong with black and white. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, there's something about the strong lines of that old school art it's just phenomenal. I love it. I mean, a lot of people think it's quaint and stuff like that, but I think it'll never go out of style. So myself.
No, black and white art is great. Paladin in Hell is still one of my favorite pieces from the Player's Handbook.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in Dragon Slayer too. Definitely pick that up if you can. Yeah, back to Shadow Dark. I'm running it a little bit now just because I'm writing an adventure. It's going to be dual. It's going to be Dragon Slayer and Shadow Dark because I think Shadow Dark is the new kind of 5e. Where people would always be like, all right, I'll produce an OSR game, but I'll also do a 5e version of it because
Kelsey was able to get the feel of the OSR, but still have the engine of 5e hidden behind an OSR chassis. So
and it's not like it's a secret.
No,
it's not a secret.
But she took the best parts of 5e and jettisoned the rest.
I know it is so stripped down, just so. Yeah, so I'm actually kind of enjoying running that too. It's a learning experience, but it's just very stripped down. I don't know if it's set up for long-term play, but short-term and convention play. It's a really strong game, real strong contender. I really like it. We got another super chat here. I have to take off my specs. No one of consequence, $10. I didn't super chat last live stream. Oh, so here's some beer money for the con. Duly noted. Thank you very much.
I will say, your beer money at this con goes pretty well.
Yeah, it goes fine.
I was shocked.
Yeah, you're from the big city, sort of, right?
I'm from New York City. To get a Sam Adams seasonal on tap for less than $5. And a buyback at a hotel bar doesn't happen it doesn't happen at any convention but this one. So God bless this place.
Yeah, there's still a couple of bars where I live in Erie that they'll do like $2 imports.
Oh wow!
On Thursdays. Yeah, Erie's notorious for having a cheap population, so it's a coupon city. So,
okay, no, that's not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. All right, well, I'll let you go. I know you're probably tired. Thank you very much for coming on and saying hello. A meeting of the minds. Yeah, I don't think we've ever been on each other's channel.
No, we haven't.
I'm always hesitant to ask because I know sometimes people think I'm controversial. I just think I'm a guy just giving my opinions.
Wait, you're telling the guy who's had the right and the left try to cancel me.
Yeah.
For the stupidest reasons. Yeah, don't worry about being controversial.
Yeah.
I apparently step in it more often than I plan to.
There you go. Yeah, you have zero fucks to give.
I really don't
Yeah,
care.
so
Yeah,
we'll have to have you on at some point.
I'd love to, man. I'd love to have you on our show.
Anytime,
Something
brother.
man.
Yeah, I'd love to. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Cool.
And keep giving this man money. Come on.
Yeah. And go over to his channel, give him money too. Right?
You can do that later.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Anybody else want to come on?
I was on the radio.
That's right. Yeah, he was live. All right. Well, I'll wrap it up out here. Do you want to say hi, dear, to the chat? Okay. All right, Mrs. D's being shy. So, all right. Another one. Hey, thank you guys so much for the memberships, the chats. What else we got here? Mercurius again, giving another membership. I'm gonna try to get to some of. Hope you guys understand. I'm just doing this with a phone and a stick, so I wasn't able to kind of follow your chat. Cal, I need to play Shadow Dark again. Give it a shot. Like I said, not set up, in my opinion, for extra like long campaigns, but for short campaigns, good system. Wonky. Yeah. Well, the wonky. The reason is like I don't know. It's just there's not a lot of choices per level for it. I have a sense that some players, look, maybe they'd be incredibly invested, and kind of go with it. But as a player, sometimes you want like, oh, I'm going to this level, maybe I'll get this. In Shadow Dark, it's really stripped down. Like you kind of roll on a table, or I let them choose, of course, as I'm sure a lot of DMs do, what they get. For level, but there's only like 4 things usually per class, and there's only like 4 base classes. There's also the ranger, and I believe the bard, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the zines. Which is, and look, you may have a group that says, I don't care if I get anything every level. I don't need the dopamine hit, and that's fine. And if you have that, then it is set up for long-term play and you'll probably have a good time. Just think of it as a very, very stripped down 5e, like ultimately like stripped down to the bone. It keeps kind of everything that was people liked about 5e. Kind of Acts 2. Yeah, Acts 2 is I'm kind of going through it here and there. I love the density. Sometimes you got to embrace the density. In a rules light sort of era. So I love that there's a rule for everything there. Isaac Priestley, have a great con. Thank you very much. Robert Santon, no thank you for your time. Buddy, wow. I'm serious. I will have Eric Tankar suck your dick. No. Falcon 2325. I've been reading the One Ring RPG. I've sort of made it my mission to collect that game. I pretty much have everything so far for it. It's a beautiful game. I have a soft spot in my heart for Free League. I like Free League. As far as the bigger companies go, I know they're not a really big company, but they're a name company. And of all the name companies, they're the ones that do the least amount of virtue signaling and stuff like that. So I kind of like to support them. And for an IP farm, they actually don't do a bad job on their games. They're really good. And then you get games like Dragonbane, and then which are kind of original. I mean, I know it's not a really original, but still they did good. But yeah, the One Ring, beautiful game. Like I love the art in it. It's kind of like Greg's game, Dragon Slayer. Even if for some reason you don't like the system, I would say just get it because it's a beautiful book to have. So if you have some extra money, yeah. But I do like the One Ring. Ward Kerr, yo Double D, yo Ward Kerr. Robert Sand. I'm going to read everything Robert Sand has said. Love it because I'm going backwards on it. I'm just trying to have fun. You're gonna make sure Double D has fun. Live Double D after a campfire, awesome. Hope you had a good campfire. Hope you drank a beer for your old pal here. Can you believe Mrs. D shot me down? She's like, I don't want to go on live with you. She's gone on live with me before at Con on the Cobb in October, which we'll be at Con on the Cobb. in October. I think there might be a drunk. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I will stress again, if you guys are within driving distance of this convention, it's a good one. And I'm not just saying that because I like Roger and, of course, Greg and all that. This was very well run, very workmanlike, and for a first year, they got a good turnout. I was a little surprised how much they had. They earned it. A lot of hard work. Yeah, and honestly, I had a ball running my game. They had to kind of rescue a princess, sort of. I tell you what, I stole a little bit out of Conan the Barbarian, the King's Daughter. Only I kind of combined it with a little Lovecraft, where she was sort of the prophet of the great Earth Mother, this cult that was like sweeping the land, causing people to drop their plowshares and go get right with the great Earth Mother, and they were convincing everybody that the old gods were doing nothing. It's the great Earth Mother that was doing it, that was going to be the future, that was going to provide for them. I was thinking back, and you could almost kind of say, and maybe I did it unconsciously. It ended up being a semi like political game. Maybe I was making some sort of observation about modern society and shortcuts and stuff like that. I don't know. I wasn't really. I mean, I was just thinking back, and I'm like, boy, I can see where if somebody was picking it apart, they might think that. But really what it was a way to get them to go travel through a cult and then having to face this gigantic Lovecraftian worm, which I'll show you guys at some point. And they did it. The Barbarian just kicked ass. How you doing? Hey.
Yeah.
You're here?
I'm here, man. I saw you walk by
Holy shit!
the game earlier, and then you vanished somewhere, and I'm like, where'd they go? And I haven't seen you all afternoon.
Misha, right?
Yeah. And I was sitting
Fuck.
in my room, and I'm like looking.
He just comes by
Yeah, I'm watching TV.
We saw you at VentureCon last year, and then briefly at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know my wife is here too?
Yeah, I saw you guys earlier, but I don't know where you went. Like
Here, come on. I'll show you. I'm live. Do you mind being live?
We're already live. It doesn't matter at this point.
This is
Say
Misha.
hello to everybody from VentureCon as well.
I thought you were just some random drunk from the bar. I'm like, keep walking, asshole. And I'm just
That's
like,
what I figured.
I'm like, what? I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I didn't know if the feed was live or not, and I walked up. I'm like, he couldn't be here like out in the lobby. And I thought maybe you went to sleep, and I'm like, no, he actually is still here.
Okay, look what I found.
Hello. What are you doing here? I was wondering if you guys.
Double D bringing people together. Yeah, it was really weird because I gamed with him at VentureCon. He's a cool dude. And I think he's from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. He's from Canada. And then actually, of all things, I guess we knew he was going to be there, but then we were just at this bar at Gen Con last year, and he just walks by, hey, what's up? And then he literally just walks by. I don't know if we're either being targeted or it's just a series of coincidences. He goes to a lot of conventions, though, like a lot of these small ones. So he's actually a really nice guy. Let us see. Robert Santon, I'm reading every one of yours that I can find. Thank you again for your time. I really do appreciate it. Have one for me. Will do, buddy. Thank you very much. Greta Thunberg. I heard via the Adam Carolla show they were breaking down Greta Thunberg, and it was like a interview she did, and she was like, "Hi, I'm Greta Thunberg. I'm Greta Thunberg." That's how she pronounces her name. She is a little goblin, a professional doom goblin, no one of consequence. Yep. Yeah, Jewish Skeptic, Conan's good series to steal from. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just want him to fight this giant worm. You know? I just wanted him to fight and have fun. And like I said, I think as I was saying when Misha dropped by, the barbarian just kicked ass. I mean, criticals, like max damage. Like the barbarian was a woman, a fan of mine too. She rolled 2d6 regularly for her damage. Like one of the dice was like double sixes, and then like a 4 and a 5. And this worm didn't know what hit him, and I thought it was gonna like take out most of the group. Not when they're rolling like that. So I did kill one. It was more suicide by cop. He was just trying. I don't know if he was just trying to get out of the game, but he was very clearly trying to provoke the bad guys in an awkward position. So I'm like, hey, I will oblige. He fell, and then the 3 guards around him stabbed him to death. So had to make sure. Just trying to look at some of this stuff. Weird way to pronounce POS, but to each their own. What are you referring to there, NorCal? I am not sure. CS. Oh, Surly's gone. Goodbye, Surly. Professional Doom Goblin. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I may. Been about an hour. Yeah, a little over an hour now. I keep telling Mrs. D, I'm like, I have to do a stream here. This is business. like this legitimately is business. I come here, I play, I will report on it, and I'll do a live stream from here. So yeah, whenever there's a convention, I will try to do my best. Sometimes I just like to see, what's around. So what's back here? Rogan and I, unwisely, if Rogan is still in the chat, he'll tell you, we went into the dark halls of some place at Gen Con. I think it was at the old train station. We were just, I was drinking. I don't know how much he was, but we were just fucking around, and we're like, oh, I wonder what's in this door. We went into this door, and it was essentially a dark closet. Not a closet. It was like a big closet, storage room, I guess. More like it, but it was like dark. And the door closed behind us, and then in like one moment, all your fears come true. We tried to open the door, and it did not open. And we're at the far end of a hall, and I'm just like, I will say, I don't panic often. I almost hyper panic there. I'm pounding on the door. I'm like, Jesus Christ, let me out, for God's sakes. I'm gonna eat Rogan. I thought for a moment I'll be stuck in here forever and a day. And then I will give it to Rogan. He of clear mind. He just walked to the back of the room, and there was a emergency door that led right out onto the street. He's like, oh, here we go. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's good. What can you do? Good old days. Rogan, if you're still here, give a thumbs up for that story. He remembers it, because I'll talk about it with him sometimes. I'll be like, remember when I was panicky guy number 3, from the Poseidon adventure? Basically saying, we're all gonna die. Rogan, have you made your peace with God? A halogen bar. What is a halogen bar? Oh, yeah, Rogan, you are there. Yep. Yeah, Rogan, did I not panic my ass off? It was not my finest moment. I mean, I wasn't in tears or anything. I was just like, holy shit, Rogan, what the fuck are we going to do? We're trapped in here. He was just so calm. He's like, we're going to walk right out of here, Double D. I'm going to carry you like a newborn baby on my bosom. And he almost did. Almost did. Oh, giant pry bar. Yeah. Trust me, I think I was already, because it was, I think from what I remember, Rogan, wasn't it like a little bit of like a storage room or something? I think I was already like looking around, like I was in survival mode, like what can we use here? What can we use? Is there any dynamite in here? We can blow the door wide open. Oh yeah, you always carry your Swiss Army knife, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh boy. Yeah. Not gonna say you panicked, but you panicked, yeah. Crazy Mouse, I don't think has ever panicked. He's never usually like wrong about stuff. The only time we were in Chicago together, and I think we were taking the train somewhere late at night. We had been out drinking or something. And he is almost always like money, like as far as, I mean, just like everything. He's always right about stuff. Like I just rely on his instincts, but he almost had us getting back on the same train we just got back off of. That's the only thing I remember. He's like, we got to get on this train. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, I think that's the one we just got off of, because we kind of got turned around. I'm like, I think we need to be over here. And he's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. That's like the one and only time I think I've ever like out-thunk him for anything practical like that. Other than that, like I said, he's always right. All right. All right, well, I'm just kind of rambling now. Last comb. Double D needs his sword and wig. Really, Cal? Really? Robert Santon, my gun's safe. It's always close. Oh, there you go. What are you packing, Robert? I have a Ruger Redhawk 44. I have an LCP2 for CCP purposes. I got just a 22 Ruger too. And I have a Ruger SR40, which used to be like, I mean, it still is. It would be like my home defense weapon. But lately I'm almost like, I would almost just rather like the 44. Just because you can count on it. Like I'm always worried, like, what if, like a jam? You can't beat a revolver. Unfortunately, it kicks like a mule, but. Asterion, I missed one of your super chats, amigo. Yes, you did. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, $5. Thank you for reminding me, sir. I'm hunting for a good sci-fi system for a setting I've been working on. Ooh, any good recommendations? Preferable die 100 sci-fi. Like if you're looking for like deep lore, there's this game called like Fading Suns, but it's almost like fantasy in space. They did a version a long time ago, but then I think they did a revised version of that. Sci-fi is always weird because it's like there's such a distinct delineation. Do you want hard sci-fi? Then obviously everybody's going to point you to Traveler. And there's a good reason why it works. It's very it's very like utilitarian, I would say. You can kind of adapt it to just about anything. For like fantasy sci-fi, maybe I always go back to that Fading Suns. I would always see like a ad for it, like back in like, I don't know, like the Dragon magazines back in the 90s, and I'd be like, man, this Fading Sun sounds so cool. And we just could never get it. Like nobody ever carried it where I was. It was before the internet too, or it was just the very early days of the internet. And then when I made my trip to with Rogan over to Warzone Matrix, I actually found an original Fading Suns. So I've been occasionally here and there kind of picking up a little bit of that. It's kind of cool, a little dated. See if anybody else, any recommendations for a good night, Rogan, by the way. Yep, thank you, buddy. And the other problem is too, a lot of the other sci-fi systems are so tied up in IP. I mean, you could do Fantasy Flight Star Wars, but it's Star Wars. I mean, I know you could just kind of strip away the Star Wars, but it would still kind of have that feel. Yeah, Die 100. That's a tough one. I will think about it. Thinking more sci-fi in the vein of Halo or Mass Effect. Man, maybe you kind of brought up something. Maybe there is stuff out there because there's all these like boutique games that I just maybe have never heard of. And maybe one of them scratches that itch. But as far as like the major ones, I don't know, because for those, I think you would need a pretty robust combat system. One that's not too onerous, too ponderous, maybe. I'll keep my eyes open. Star Frontiers. Oh yeah, you know what? It is a classic. And that actually does remind me. Okay, Asterion. I think there's a game that you can get on drive-through called Frontier Space. I'm pretty sure it's just a clone of Star Frontiers. So maybe check that out. I got like the 2 books, but I'd be lying if I said I flipped through it much. I think I did when I first got it and then just kind of put it aside because I wasn't doing anything with it. But I think like DM James, I think he was the one that kind of was shouting it out, and that's why I picked it up. It was very early on in my channel, and I'm just like, oh, I'll check this out. But it doesn't look half bad. In the same respect, I'm not sure that's what you're itching for. As far as like setting, I don't know if you can adapt it to that or not. I don't know. Have to see. All right. Hero system. Yeah. Oh yeah, Star Hero. Yeah. Duh. Thank you, Badger. All right, I got all your super chats, didn't I? Oh, Free League Alien. Yeah. Again, it's all right. So it's tied to IP. Now I used Free League Alien rules actually for a game, a Halloween one shot, where it was more the thing. So it kind of worked with that too. The stress mechanic. The stress mechanic is really cool. That's something I think you could try to fit into other games as well. It's a great game. That's why I say I like Free League. Even for like an IP heavy company, they do really good stuff with it. So yeah, Free League Alien is not half bad. But again, it kind of leans into the horror aspect too, and it is most certainly not Die 100. But yeah, Star Frontiers, Traveler, Morkborg, Death in Space, Vast Grim. Vast Grim, is that like 40K? I'm sensing some sort of 40K kind of homage. Yeah, good night in advance. I said I was going to leave. All right, yeah, I probably will leave now. Now that I've cleaned up all the chats. Oh, okay, Morkborg. Thank you, Meat. Okay. Robert, thank you so much for your generosity tonight. Wow. I did not expect that. I just wanted to do a quick stream. I wanted to get the reason was I was in the room with, obviously like Bluddworth, Tenkar, Greg and Roger, there's like a bunch of like really cool dudes in the same room. So I'm like, I got to get my camera. I got to get my phone, my tripod. Let's do this. So yeah. All right, guys. I am going to end it there. So we'll be heading home tomorrow from here. I hope you guys have a great day. I think tomorrow's Father's Day, isn't it? Yeah, the U.S. Open is this week, isn't it? So I think it's Father's Day. So all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And for me, happy Grandfather's Day. Ooh, yikes. Shark! Did you just come in right at the end when I'm saying goodbye? All right, guys. Yeah, I do have to go. Mrs. D is somewhere here, so I will have to track her down. Guys, take care. Peace and love from Central New York Con. And I really do mean, if you can get here, it was good gaming. Pretty good old school stuff. You know, yeah, they were running some new stuff too. So if you do like 5e or something like that, I mean, I saw there were some tables of that too. But yeah, definitely come here. Good night, all. Peace. Love you. Take care. We will talk soon. See ya.